world has beaten a single paralyzing word into your skull since childhood: realistic. They told you to set realistic goals, to have realistic expectations, to be a realist. You believe this is wisdom. It is not. It is the greatest psychological scam ever pulled. Realism is a straitjacket tailored by the mediocre to keep you sitting quietly in the cell right next to theirs. The terrifying truth that civilized society refuses to admit is this: every empire, every lasting legacy, every profound leap in human power was born from a mind that was, by clinical definition, delusional. I am going to show you how to weaponize that delusion, how to lie to the universe until it surrenders to your version of the truth. But to do this, we have to break the programming you currently defend. Because the sane, rational people, they are losing. And if you want to understand why your success requires a calculated break from reality, you must first look at the trap of sanity, the architecture of the realistic trap. Look at the people telling you to be realistic. Look at their eyes. Look at their bank accounts. Look at their lives. Are they powerful? Are they free? Or are they just tired? Realism is the religion of the exhausted. We are socially engineered to worship conformity under the disguise of prudence. The moment you state an ambition that threatens the tribal average, the immune system of society attacks you. They don't attack you with fists, they attack you with concern. Are you sure that's a safe bet? What if the market crashes? Most businesses fail. They cloak their envy in the language of protection. They try to save you from disappointment because they are terrified of what your success would say about their cowardice. If you take the leap and actually fly, it proves that their decision to stay on the ground was a choice, not a necessity. You expose their laziness. To survive this, you must construct a mental fortress of irrational self-belief. You must become completely immune to the gravitational pull of average thinking. Think about the moments when your momentum dies, when the numbers drop, when the crowd starts whispering that you lost your touch. The realists will immediately circle you like vultures. They will tell you to compromise, to change your style, to bend the knee and admit you were wrong, hoping that if you play by their rules, they will grant you permission to succeed again. When momentum dies, the weak man compromises. He changes his approach to appease the critics. He tries to prove he is reasonable. He thinks this will save him. It won't. It just proves to his enemies that he can be broken. It proves their point. The delusional man does the exact opposite. When the world tells him he is wrong, he doubles down. He refuses to apologize for his vision. He forces the world to adjust to him. The world demands evidence before it grants permission. Show me you can do it, and then I will believe you. The outlier understands that physics operates in reverse for the human mind. You must believe it with a psychotic level of certainty before a single shred of evidence exists. You are currently negotiating with a reality that was built by someone else. Stop negotiating. Start dictating. How do you override the hardwiring of a brain designed to seek safety? How do you step off the cliff and convince your nervous system that you know how to fly? Weaponized psychosis. Let's look at the actual science of insanity. In the late 1980s, a researcher named Shelley Taylor at UCLA stumbled upon a terrifying revelation about the human mind. She was studying mental health and how people perceive reality. What she found shattered the foundation of modern psychology. The people who saw the world most accurately, the ones who correctly assessed their own flaws, the probability of failure and the harshness of the world, were the clinically depressed. Sanity, pure, unadulterated realism, leads straight to misery. The healthy, the highly successful, the resilient, they all shared a common psychological defect. They suffered from positive illusions. They consistently overestimated their skills. They believed they had more control over random events than they actually did. They viewed their future as irrationally bright. They were delusional, and that delusion is exactly what made them function at a higher level. Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel laureate, studied the psychology of successful entrepreneurs. He found the exact same pathology. The people who change the world operate on an optimism bias so extreme that it borders on madness. They look at a 90% failure rate and legitimately think, those poor 90%. Good thing I'm different. This is not the cheap, toxic positivity you see on social media. It is not smiling at a wall and hoping it turns into a door. It is a biological hacking of the self-fulfilling prophecy. When you adopt a delusional belief in your own inevitability, your brain alters its filtering mechanism. The reticular activating system in your mind stops looking for reasons to quit and starts scanning the environment for weapons to use. If you believe, with psychotic certainty, that you are destined to rule your space, you do not sleep like a normal person. You do not speak like a normal person. You endure pain that would break a realist, because to you, the pain is just the prologue to your inevitable triumph. The realist looks at a locked door and says, "It's locked. I should go home." The delusional mind looks at the locked door and says, "This is a test to keep the weak out. I will break the hinges." You need to cultivate an arrogance so deep, so unshakable, that the world eventually bends to accommodate it. You must demand the impossible from yourself and treat the subsequent miracles as routine. But how do you sustain this when the world hits you back? When you fail, when you are humiliated, when the delusion threatens to crack under the weight of hard evidence? The reality distortion field. Consider the story of Cyrus Field, not a military conqueror, but a man who waged war against the ocean. In the 1850s, he decided he was going to lay a telegraph cable across the Atlantic Ocean, connecting Europe and America. The experts called him a lunatic. The engineering didn't exist. The physics were considered impossible. The ocean was too deep, the currents too strong, the distance too vast. It was the definition of unrealistic. Field didn't care. He raised the money, he built the cable, he laid it down, and it snapped. A realist would have stopped. Field raised more money. He tried again. It snapped again. He failed 4 times over the course of 12 years. He lost his fortune. He was a global laughingstock. The public called it a giant hoax. But Cyrus Field was infected with a delusion that inoculated him against shame. He did not view failure as a verdict. He viewed it as a delay. On the 5th attempt, it worked. He connected the continents, he shrank the globe, he altered the trajectory of human history. Why? Because his internal reality was stronger than the external friction. This is the reality distortion field. It is a term famously applied to Steve Jobs, but it applies to every outlier in history. It is the ability to project your internal delusion outward with such force that it bends the beliefs of the people around you. When you are absolutely, unflinchingly delusional about your own value and your ultimate victory, it creates a magnetic pull. People are desperate for certainty in a deeply uncertain world. If you project absolute certainty, even if it is technically irrational, people will follow you. Investors will fund you. Partners will join you. Enemies will step aside. They yield to the man who acts like he knows exactly where he is going. Look at your own life. Where are you currently yielding to reality? Where are you lowering your prices, shrinking your ambitions, or modifying your words because you are afraid of appearing arrogant? Arrogance is only a flaw if it lacks execution. When backed by relentless action, arrogance becomes prophecy. You must begin to treat your ultimate success as a historical fact that simply hasn't happened yet. When Napoleon Hill studied the wealthiest men of his era, he didn't find that they were smarter or luckier. He found that they possessed a definiteness of purpose that bordered on obsession. They didn't hope to get rich. They demanded it of the universe, and they acted as if the transaction was already complete. You are playing too small because you are afraid of the judgment of people who will be forgotten a century from now. You are letting ghosts dictate your potential. Let them call you crazy. Let them call you delusional. The distance between a lunatic and a genius is measured only by the outcome, and you control the outcome by refusing to acknowledge the possibility of defeat. What happens when you stop pretending to be humble? What happens when you embrace the monster of your own ambition? The extinction of humility. You have been taught that humility is a virtue. You have been told to lower your head, wait your turn, and let your work speak for itself. That is slave morality. Humility, in the modern sense, is a tool used by the weak to domesticate the strong. When society tells you to be humble, they are not asking you to be polite. They are asking you to shrink. They want you to diminish your light so their shadows don't look so dark. The outlier rejects humility, not by becoming loud or obnoxious, but by developing a cold, objective awareness of their own lethal capability. Think about a surgeon about to perform a life-saving heart operation. Do you want that surgeon to be humble? Do you want him standing over the operating table saying, "Well, I'm not that great. I'll just do my best and we'll see what happens"? No. You want a surgeon with a God complex. You want a surgeon who looks at death and says, "Not today. I am in the room." You must adopt the exact same psychology for your own life. When you pitch a client, when you create a piece of art, when you walk into a negotiation, you cannot carry the energy of someone asking for a favor. You must carry the energy of someone offering salvation. This requires a radical shift in identity. You have to stop viewing yourself as a participant and start viewing yourself as the prize. The delusional mind understands that value is completely subjective. If you treat yourself like a commodity, the world will price you like a commodity. If you act as though your time, your insight, and your presence are rare and invaluable, the world will eventually pay the premium. This is not about faking it. Faking it implies you don't believe it. Delusion means you believe it so entirely that the lack of current evidence is merely a temporary glitch in the matrix. When you strip away humility, you strip away hesitation. You stop second-guessing your instincts. You execute with a terrifying speed because you are not pausing to ask for permission from your peers. And this speed, this unapologetic execution, is what creates the separation between you and the masses. While they are debating whether they are ready, you have already launched. While they are seeking consensus, you are capturing territory. While they are trying to be realistic, you are rewriting reality. But there is a dark side to this. A cost to stepping out of the consensus reality. When you choose the path of the delusional victor, you will trigger an intense psychological immune response from the people closest to you. They will not applaud your new mindset. They will try to cure you of it. How do you survive the social isolation that comes with irrational ambition? How do you look your oldest friends in the eye and silently refuse to play their game anymore? The amputation of the sane. When you choose the path of the delusional victor, you will trigger a violent psychological immune response from the people closest to you. They will not applaud your new mindset. They will try to cure you of it. You must understand the mechanics of conformity. Sherry Turkle, a brilliant mind on human interaction, exposes how deeply we are wired to seek the center of the herd. When you step out of the herd, you do not just risk the elements. You threaten the perceived safety of everyone left behind. They will sit you down. They will use a soft, concerned tone. They will list the statistics of failure. They will ask you what your backup plan is. What they are actually doing is attempting to drag you back to their level of baseline anxiety. Your irrational confidence makes their chosen mediocrity feel like a failure of courage. If you are right, their entire worldview is wrong. You cannot argue with these people. Logic is useless against a person whose primary goal is emotional anesthesia. You must perform an amputation. This does not always mean physically cutting them out of your life, though sometimes it does. It means amputating their access to your internal reality. You stop sharing your visions. You stop seeking their feedback. You look them in the eye, smile, and completely ignore their advice. You must become a fortress of absolute, unyielding self-belief. And then comes the hardest part. You will hit a wall. Your momentum will stall. The numbers will freeze. The traction will die. This happens to every outlier. It is the friction of reality testing the strength of your delusion. When your momentum dies, the critics will emerge from the woodwork. They will point at your stalled progress and say, "We told you so." They will critique your methods. They will tell you that your style is flawed. This is where the amateur breaks and the master transcends. You will look at your stalled progress and realize you need to adapt. You need to change your execution. You need to pivot your strategy. But a sickening fear will grip you. You will hesitate to change your style because you are terrified that if you pivot now, it will look like a concession. You think, if I change my approach, I am admitting they were right all along. I will prove their point, that I was the one in the wrong. Listen to how weak that sounds. The true delusional mind does not care about winning a debate with a spectator. You are playing a game of absolute power, not a game of public relations. If changing your angle, your medium, or your style gets you the empire, you burn the old style to the ground without a second thought. Let them think they were right. Let them claim their cheap victory. They are fighting for the illusion of being correct. You are fighting for the throne. The lion does not care if the hyenas think they forced him to change his hunting path. He only cares about the kill. You must be so entirely obsessed with the ultimate outcome that you have zero ego attached to the micro-adjustments along the way. Your delusion is anchored to your final victory, not to the perfection of your current draft. The historical blueprint of madness. If you think this philosophy is an abstract theory, look at the architecture of history. In the late 19th century, the entire academic world agreed that the city of Troy, the site of the legendary Trojan War, was a myth. It was a bedtime story written by Homer, a fiction. The smartest men on earth, the realists, the historians, the archaeologists, had closed the book on it. Then came Heinrich Schliemann. Schliemann was a businessman. He had no formal training in archaeology, but he had a delusion. He believed with an irrational, burning certainty that the Iliad was not a poem, but a map. The academic world mocked him. They called him a fraud, an amateur, a lunatic chasing ghosts. They laid out the realistic facts. No evidence of Troy had ever been found. The geography didn't perfectly match. It was a financial suicide mission. Schliemann did not care. He did not negotiate with their reality. He took his fortune, traveled to Turkey, hired a crew, and started digging into a hill called Hisarlik. He dug through dirt, through rock, through the ridicule of the entire civilized world. And what did he find? He found Troy. He found the walls. He found the gold. He found the myth and dragged it screaming into reality. The realists were forced to rewrite the history books because a delusional amateur refused to accept their boundaries. This is the power of the reality distortion field. When your internal belief is heavier than the external skepticism, the world eventually bends. But you must ask yourself, do you have the stomach for it? Do you have the endurance to be called a fool for years before you are called a genius? Most people fold. They crave the warmth of immediate validation. They want someone to pat them on the back and say, you are on the right track. The outlier knows that if everyone agrees with you, your goal is too small. If your vision does not provoke at least mild concern from the people around you, you are playing entirely within the boundaries of the mundane, the asymmetry of risk. The realists will warn you about risk. They will tell you that being delusional is dangerous because you might lose everything. This is the ultimate mathematical error of the average mind. They do not understand asymmetric risk. The realist looks at a venture and says, there is a 90% chance I will fail and look stupid, therefore I will not try. The delusional mind looks at the exact same venture and says, there is a 10% chance I will build something that alters the trajectory of my bloodline forever. The cost of failure is temporary embarrassment. The reward for success is immortality. I will roll the dice. The realist overvalues their current comfort. They protect their fragile ego. They guard their meager savings and their quiet weekends as if these things are sacred. They are not sacred. They are the chains keeping you exactly where you are. When you adopt this manufactured psychosis, you stop fearing failure because you no longer view it as a terminal condition. You view it as a data point. When a video flops, when a business launch craters, when a relationship shatters because you refuse to lower your standards, the realist feels shame. The delusional mind feels a cold, clinical curiosity. Fascinating, The market did not respond to that stimulus. I will adjust the stimulus. You detach entirely from the emotional weight of the outcome. You become a scientist running an experiment on the universe, and the universe is highly responsive to the person who refuses to stop testing it. This is how you weaponize optimism. You do not just hope for the best. You expect the best with such aggressive entitlement that you force the circumstances to yield. And when they don't yield immediately, you outlast them. The world is entirely populated by people who quit just before the concrete cracks. They hit the wall, they bruise their knuckles, and they retreat to the comfort of the couch, comforting themselves with the lie that it just wasn't meant to be. Nothing is meant to be. Destiny is a myth invented by the lazy to explain the achievements of the relentless. You write the script, you hammer the concrete, and you do not stop until it shatters. The death of the apology. To fully integrate this framework, you must kill a specific reflex within yourself. You must stop apologizing for your ambition. Watch how people speak when they talk about what they want. They hedge. They use qualifiers. I'm trying to, it would be nice if. They are pre-apologizing for their inevitable failure. They are giving themselves a psychological out so that when they quit, they can say they were never fully committed anyway. Eradicate this language from your mouth. Eradicate it from your mind. When you speak about your future, you speak in the definitive present tense. I am building this. I am taking this territory. This is mine. It will feel uncomfortable at first. Your brain will scream at you, warning you that you are exposing yourself to humiliation. Let it scream. The ego is terrified of the gap between your current reality and your stated ambition. Good. That gap is where the friction lives, and friction creates fire. When you stop apologizing for your desires, you force the world to take you seriously. You project a frequency of absolute intolerance for mediocrity. People will sense this. Some will be repelled by it. They will call you arrogant. They will call you conceited. Let them leave. They are filtering themselves out of your ecosystem. The ones who remain will be the ones who are magnetized by your certainty. They will want to be near the heat of your fire. You are not required to be nice. You are not required to be relatable. You are required to be effective. The greatest minds in history were notoriously difficult to be around. They were demanding. They were uncompromising. They were entirely possessed by their own vision. They were not trying to win a popularity contest. They were trying to bend the fabric of the world. We arrive at the core of the paradox. The people who preach realism believe they are seeing the world clearly. They believe they are the sane ones. But what is sanity in a world that is inherently chaotic, unpredictable, and entirely malleable? To look at a blank canvas and see only a blank canvas is not sanity. It is blindness. To look at a blank canvas and see a masterpiece that does not yet exist, and to believe in that masterpiece so deeply that you sacrifice your sleep, your comfort, and your reputation to paint it. That is the beautiful, terrifying delusion that moves the human race forward. You have spent your entire life trying to fix your flaws, trying to be more grounded, trying to be more reasonable. What if your reason is the exact thing holding you hostage? What if the most dangerous, powerful, untouchable version of yourself is the one you have been suppressing because you were afraid of what the neighbors would think? You do not need more advice. You do not need another strategy. You do not need to read another book on how to optimize your morning routine. You need to lose your mind. You need to step completely out of the consensus reality and build your own. You need to decide tonight that the version of the future you see in your head is the only acceptable outcome, and that you will drag it into existence by the throat if you have to. Stop trying to be realistic. The realistic people are miserable. Be delusional. It is the only way you will ever actually win. If this video opened your eyes, understand that the window to share this kind of truth is closing. YouTube has officially demonetized this channel. They want advertiser-friendly content, they want you docile, and the algorithm is designed to suppress information that disrupts the baseline. I refuse to play that game. Instead of watering down my message to please the advertisers, I am doubling down on my depth. But I cannot fight this machine alone, and I need your support to keep this channel and this mission alive. Click the link in the description right now and head over to my Patreon page to join me. That is where I am building the fortress. I am making raw, unfiltered, members-only videos there. The exact psychological blueprints and uncompromising truths that cannot survive on this platform. Most people will close this video, click on something safe, and go back to being realistic. Don't be like them. Join me on Patreon, and let's dictate our own reality.